I'm joined by Jimmy Dag.
Yay, good morning, good morning.
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
I'm excited to be here. That's how I'm doing. How you doing?
All right. I'm excited to be here. I've got a live microphone and my boss isn't in the state. Who knows what I'm going to say today?
We're gonna figure it out. It's recorded though. Whatever you say, it's gonna be a record for the rest of the world.
Okay, so I best stay on task. And we're going to start today with the Las Vegas MLS stats. So let's bring that up so everyone can see it. Okie dokie, the stats. Full disclosure, I'm going to give you my non-real estate agent interpretation of this, but things are looking up. I mean, we've got a smiley face here, and it looks like we've got 131 available that are under the just listed column. So we're listing more, and that's always a good thing because we need inventory, right, Jim?
That's for sure. Yeah.
And she's got it marked down as 17 days of inventory. And I'm not sure if that's ever been explained or people know what that really means. That means if people keep selling houses the way they're selling them without new ones coming on the market, you run out of houses to sell. Is that right, Jim?
That's it. That's it.
That's it. Well, that's kind of scary for you guys because if you don't have houses to sell, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, can you bring that chart back up for a second?
Sure, absolutely.
There are so many statistics on here. If I was going to hand this to someone and I said, what does this mean to you? They're talking about, well, how's the real estate market? I said, well, let me show you something I just got from Ruthie Rocks. And it's all kinds of different statistics. Which one do you think is the most important? And they might look at this, they might say, well, there's so many statistics on here, I'm not really sure. As a real estate professional, I would pick out one of these, just one of them. And the one I would probably start with was, Cain, you've heard the phrase, follow the
leader.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Follow the leader. But how about follow the money?
Follow the money. Oh, yeah. People
Follow
like money even more than leaders.
There you go. So you see the box that says $1 million stats on the top right?
Mm-hmm.
And it says in the whole year of 2020, we sold 618 the whole year. And this year, so far this year, we've sold 724. We've exceeded the entire last year by almost 20%, which tells me the money is going into $1 million houses. We're not even halfway through the year yet. And we're already over the entire year last year by 20%. Now, I realized last year there was a pandemic and a lockdown and stuff like that, and that's going to impact it some. But that really only impacted us 2 or 3 months. For us to have $724 million plus properties sold and closed escrow, this is closings, that tells me the money's going into real estate. That would be the first statistic I would look at because that's real evidence for me. And the second thing I'd look at is when we look at the available inventory, you already alluded to the fact that there's 3,028 properties on the market. And the reason I would look at that one is because if somebody goes on MLS as a consumer, the very first splash page, when they sign on as a consumer, says there's 6,000 homes on the market. Because MLS looks at all the homes in the market, the ones that are under contract that are not closed yet. So you could still make a backup offer, but they're not really available. Available is 3,000. That's what's available.
Yeah. So. And to your point, what's important on this chart is different for different people. I mean, if somebody was looking to sell their home, maybe that equity chart is more important to them. Or if somebody's like a first-time home buyer, the median price is more important to them. So you also got to differentiate what's going to be most important to the person you're handing this to.
And if you ask them, what do you see on here that jumps out at you, and they pick something, that means they are thinking about maybe selling their house or they are looking at whatever. If they can pick something out, that's great. But there's a lot of data on here. They might not be able to pick something out.
No, and it is a lot of data. That's why, as a real estate agent, it's your job to kind of guide them through that process.
So we were talking a little bit before the show, and Ruthie made some comment on the show the other day that, I don't know why agents are not doing what they're supposed to do or why they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And my comment was, it's easier not to do it.
Well, that is an accurate statement. Not doing something is a lot easier than doing something, Jim. But, people need to have motivations for the things that they want. Like recently, I started a lifestyle change to lose weight. I was 331 pounds. And today I'm 282. And that required not just a financial commitment for the diet plan, but, a willpower commitment so I stay on it. And it's not easy. And having a business like being a real estate agent, you're a business owner at this point, and you got to do all the business owner things. It's not like clocking in 9 to 5, having a job, getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. You wake up, you need to create business opportunities so you can get those commission checks. And how do they create those opportunities? They got to think like a marketer, like you just did with the stats. So they need materials. They need to know how to decipher those materials. They need to know how to read people. They need to present a certain air of confidence and expertise. It's very hard being a business person, isn't it, Jim?
Well, you are singing to the choir here, because when we talk about, as a business owner, you're the CEO and the CFO and the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer. And what you just said is really important. Buffini, when we listen to him, he talks about how important marketing is. And one of the ways you market yourself is you build your brand in the eyes of the consumer. And one of the ways you build your brand is by using these statistics and getting standing as an expert in their eyes. So that's part of marketing, is building your brand. So, and then we have the Chief Technology Officer. If we don't have a Cain, so we got to figure out this social media. We got to figure out the computers. I mean, when I ask agents to cut and paste, well, you've heard us on the show. We say, how many of you have a split screen? How many of you are looking at us on one screen and looking at the content? And what's the percentage, Cain?
It's incredibly low. I think in all the classes we've done in the past 2 years, all the people that we've had on Zoom, one, and that was yesterday.
Well, that's because this is a new feature, isn't it? Splitting the screen is a new feature on the computer. I've never heard of splitting the screen.
Oh, yeah, it's only been around 15, 20, 25 years. It's 2021. It's the future.
So we give all this training, and you need training in the technology side of it too, the actual use of the hardware or the software, and the basic, cut and paste, Control X, Control C, Control V. What do the control keys do for you? What do the shortcuts do? And you might have this down, but the average real estate agent does not.
No, and what kind of makes that a little bit different is the control, the shortcut keys, they're a little bit different depending on what program you're doing. In Excel and Word, they might not have the exact same things if you hit Control D. So you not only have to learn one set of skills for one program, you have to learn modified sets of skills for multiple programs.
Or devices.
And devices. Yeah, I mean, let's look at the average person. You've got a desktop computer like I'm on right now. You've got a laptop computer that you take with you. You got the smartphones, which is the little computer rectangle that's attached to our hands. It's a good thing they never came out with Google Glass, otherwise it'd just be attached to our faces.
When we have a question about operating the phone, when we're in one of our sessions, I have to defer to you, because I don't know how to use the phone as a computer. When somebody says, well, I'm on my cell phone, well, I can't help you. I don't know how to do that. Or I'm on a Mac. I can't help you. I don't know how to do a Mac. So there's different devices.
And sometimes people come to me with their computer, and it's an HP with Windows 10. Full disclosure, Windows Vista was my last Windows system. It's been a while, and I'll just look at them. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're not compatible. We don't speak the same languages anymore. I mean, there is some overlap, but at some point you got to go to somebody who specializes in that thing. Also, sometimes people ask me to help them with their phones. I'm like, you got an iPhone? No, I've got an Android. I've got a Samsung. Well, they're just different enough that if you don't play with it every day, you're kind of fumbling around looking for similar features.
So if you were new, let's say you had an Apple phone for a long time and you went to an Android phone for whatever reason, is there some kind of training? Would I go to YouTube? Would I just Google train me on my Android? Or how would you're a technology guy. How would you tell me as a real estate agent, you need to go get some training? Here's where I would go.
Well, here's the thing. Between Google and YouTube, you can find any information you need. Now, finding up-to-date and current information can sometimes be a challenge, depending on how the information gets indexed. But there is, features on Google that let you just search information that's been new from the past year, the past month, or even the past 24 hours. So you got to sometimes narrow it down. if you go to YouTube and you
Wait,
watch
wait, 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 wait. Are you
what?
telling me that there's a filter that I can get the more recent stuff only? There's a
Yes,
filter?
there's a
Is this
filter.
like splitting the screen? Is this filter thing, is this new? They just came out with this filter stuff, didn't they?
It's fairly new. It's only like 18 years old, Jim. It's a young adult.
I don't know how to do it. You're telling me something. I know it's out there, but I don't know how to do it actually.
Well, here, let me give you and everyone else a little tip. After you do your Google search, there's
Yeah.
these little words under the search bar that those are the filters. And if you click on them, like one of them is time. It's okay, time. What's time mean? You click on time and it gives you some options. 1 year, 1 month, 24 hours. And if you click on 1 year, you're only seeing things that are a year old.
Now I know what to do when our broadcast is over today. I'm going to try this out and see and I'm going to see you at 1 o'clock for Buffini. If I can't figure this out at about 10 minutes to 1, I'm going to have a question for you.
That's okay. I'll show you how it's done.
Okay, good. We should show all the Buffiniites today because I'll bet you in class, maybe 2 of them know how to do this. The rest of them, they don't know how to do it.
Maybe they'll surprise us.
They do that sometimes, but not in a good way.
Oh, no. My heart hurts now.
Well, you and I talked before the show a little bit about, I'm a big fan of Buffini, and you've been sitting through the Buffini sessions for a while now. And you said the guy talks as much about what versus what?
So he's a real estate agent trainer, but most of his content is about owning and operating and building a successful business. I mean, out of all the videos we watched, I think only like 4 of them have been about actual real estate stuff. And that was, showing a home for a buyer and then dealing with a seller. Everything else that we've done in 100 Days to Greatness has been about building your business, getting referrals. And these tactics can be used not only by real estate agents, but anyone who owns a business, really. I mean, it's pretty universal, it seems like to me. The things that he can do in order to not just generate business, but to keep the business he already has. It's stuff, Coca-Cola does. I don't think Coca-Cola writes personal notes, but, they do most everything else.
I saw a statistic the other day that said Coca-Cola, the first year it came to the market, only sold 25 bottles. I haven't verified that, but that's kind of a slow start for a big brand like they are. But he does talk about building a business, but he also talks about building yourself. And he talks about the difference between competence and character. And he says, you know what? If my doctor's not very nice, but is a really, really good doctor, I really want a competent doctor. I really want a competent agent. I want both. I want a nice guy that's good at what he does, that's friendly and that's engaging, but they got to be good at what they do. So he does talk about your competence, and he says that's the biggest piece of it. But if your character is not there, you're not going to get the referrals. So you got to earn every deal one at a time. It's too hard to run a business like that. You're not operating a business. You're just doing onesie twosies.
Yeah. And I think another thing that he does really well is, he builds his systems out to where he like we talked about this last time, he establishes what is most important for him. And what most important for him is he writes his notes every day. So he makes his system to where he has his notes on his keyboard, and it's, what do you say? It's not negotiable. He
That's what he
has
said.
to do his notes. And sometimes people, you get busy, you kind of treat it like medical triage. What has to be done right now in order for survival to happen? And that's the price you pay sometimes in a busy work environment. But he set this one thing as not negotiable, and that's his thing. I have a few things that I do every day that's not negotiable, and that's what helps me get through my day. And I'm sure you have a few things that you do that are not negotiable.
Well, as a person, you have rest, diet, and exercise, which you've just made some changes with your own life. If you do the right rest, diet, and exercise, that's all personal stuff. It's not running your business, but it keeps you from having to deal with triage.
Yes.
So that the fundamentals in the real estate, keeping in touch with your current clients, past clients, all that kind of stuff. I shared the story once before on the show, but it's been a long time since I shared it. I was talking to the guy that was the #1 broker in Australia on the whole continent. The guy's the #1 broker on the whole continent. I said, what do you do that makes you the #1 broker? He says, we call every client every day, 5 days a week. He said, we have 20 things we talked about. On day 1, we talk about #1. Day 2, we talk about #2. The first 5 days, we talk about 5 things. Then the next week, we take Saturday and Sunday off. Next week, we call them 5 more times. By the time we get to week #4, they've already forgotten what we talked about on week #1. So we just go back to week #1 again, and we wash, rinse, and repeat, or what do they say? Something like that. But he said, you know what? Our clients can never say, I didn't hear from my agent. They know, it's like Brian Buffini's non-negotiable right notes. They know when they get to the office, when they sit down to work, the first thing they do is call all their existing clients, and they have a list. Here's the update. You know, I moved the pictures around in your listing because some people think that might raise us on the search engine because something's going on with this particular listing. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm doing something. What are you doing? I'm doing something.
Yeah, I mean, what is it you call the MLS sometimes? The magic listing system?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or the 3 Ps. What are the P's? Put it in, put up a sign, put it in MLS, and pray.
Yeah. You know, you asked me earlier, just before the broadcast, what did I want to talk about today? And I said questions. I want to talk about questions. And Ruthie just got me a new book called Decoding Greatness that Tom Ferry recommended. It just came out today, and she gave it to me yesterday. She got an advanced copy for me. So this weekend, I promised her I'm going to read this book. But, you know, the average CEO reads a book a week. Now, I think if you read a book or listen to a book a week, I think that's just as good. A listening book is, to me, it's just as good as reading the book because you get the content, you get all the ideas. And for some people, auditory is better than reading. But I'm a big fan of Tim Ferriss. And one of his books, his latest book is called Tribe of Mentors. And he talks about 11 questions that he asks people on his show, and not always in the same order. He just has a conversation with them. And one of them things he asks and is, what is the book or books you've given most as a gift and why? Or what are 1 to 3 books that have greatly influenced your life? So they can go down whichever path they want. Well, I read Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning. Oh, I read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he talks to them about why those were important. And on his website, you can go see all these uber achievers. He's got a list of books that they liked. And if you go to that list of books and you haven't read 3 of them, I have a question. Why not? It's easier not to read than it is to read them. I get it, but it's doing the work, as you've already said, Cain. If you don't do the work, you're not going to reach the success. Carrie Fisher's credited with saying, success comes before work only in the dictionary.
Yes, and we got a viewer, a Ruth Albrand. I'm not sure who that is. She is suggesting Private Mementos by Tim Ferriss as well.
I don't even know that one.
Yeah.
So I got some reading to do. First this weekend, though, Decoding Greatness. I promised her I was going to read it this weekend. So I got my homework cut out for me this weekend.
And we got you on video saying that you promised.
I know. There's another question that he asked. It says, if you could put up a billboard that would be seen by theoretically millions of people, you could say anything on it, metaphorically or some quotes. You could use a paragraph. It could be somebody else's quote, doesn't have to be from you. And it's interesting, in his book, Tribe of Mentors, the first guy says, he asked the question, what would you put on a billboard? And the guy said, not only would I not put up a billboard, I would take down every billboard in America.
There you go. If you're the only billboard people are seeing.
Well, he's not going to put up one. He doesn't like billboards. He's going to take them all down. He said, not only would I not put one up, which is to me a totally counterintuitive answer to that question. I'm thinking, what would I put up on a billboard? Because that was a question. And this guy goes off on a rant. Billboards. I'm not only would I not.
Sounds like he's trying to avoid it.
He's taking them all down. No, I don't think that's it.
Really? Maybe, I don't know. Billboards. I don't know. Maybe he has some sort of personal vendetta against the billboards.
Yeah, I don't think that's it either. You know, Zig Ziglar used to have a goal setting class, and it's on video. You can go watch it. It's really, really beyond excellent. But he talks about you have to write down your goals because you have to see them. And he says you have to ask the question, what's it going to take for me to get there? But what's in it for me if I don't get there? What's the pain of regret? And he says, sometimes it's the negative motivation that causes you to go to work every day. I don't want to end up like this. This is not what I've seen a lot of agents end up like this. I don't want to do that. I want to be different. And here's how you be different.
And that is a very powerful motivator for some people. Negativity can fuel some people.
Yep.
Other people, it tears them down. Everyone's a little bit different. There's no like magic bullet or one size fits all plan. But one of the things that Ruthie says, there's 1,000 ways to make money in this business. Just pick one or two. And it's true. Of all the real estate agents I know, the ones that are successfully do business year after year, none of them are carbon copies of each other. They all do different tactics. They all have different systems. Sometimes people struggle to find a system. One of the things, in my interactions with real estate agents over the years is, they ask me what I need to do. And I ask them what they've done. And they're like, well, I got the website. I'm like, well, what else have you done? And they're like, I got the website. I'm like, okay, you've done one thing. You got a website. And I'll go through like a checklist with them, like, have you done any social media? And if it's no, it's no. If it's yes, we go over what it is. And if it's no, we try to, help them. And there's ways that I can help real estate agents, through Agent Formula. There's ways Ruth helps agents. Not just through Agent Formula, but we host the CE classes. She has her Facebook group, Ruthie Rocks, where she posts the stats, videos, and all kinds of other material for absolutely for free. You spend a lot of time with your agents, helping them get started up. I mean, we're doing 100 Days to Greatness. Michael's one of your agents. Hannah's one of your agents. Is Anthony one of your agents too?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And you're putting time in on some young people starting right at the beginning of their careers to get them started. Every week, the real estate guy does his training in our room absolutely for free, and he basically just tells people what he does. So there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, this is what I do. It works for me. And unfortunately, some people just aren't willing to kind of, I don't know if it's a trust issue or, they're looking down at it. One time we had a person in our real estate class, not our what's it called, social media class, and we're talking about building relationships with clients. And he particularly said, I don't want to break bread with people. I want to make money. So he just popped into my head during our last 100 Days to Greatness. So I looked him up on the MLS. He hasn't done a deal in 2 years. So he's not breaking bread with anyone, but he ain't making money either.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they say that's what made Jesus so powerful. The Sermon on the Mount was a picnic, and the Last Supper was a dinner party. He socialized with his people, and that's when his message got out. He didn't stand up and preach. He went out and he got among them. And again, breaking bread was a really powerful strategy for him, and it's all over. And it was one of the ways that he led those people. There's a book called Jesus CEO, and it really makes that point. But, we talk about the key performance indicators. And as you said, for a business owner, there's one key performance indicator that's non-negotiable. And it's evidenced by writing the notes, but it's how many conversations did you have yesterday? How many conversations are you going to have today? And Ruthie has a 5-5-5-5 program. And that 5-5-5 program is using the leverage of social media to cause those conversations to happen. And if you just came in and spent your first 30 minutes just doing that one activity, you would actually own a business. If you opened a shoe store, when you open the doors, you're going to check the shelves and make sure that they look good. So when somebody walks into your store, that you're ready for business. Those 5-5-5-5, that's one way to open your store. Maybe even before you open the store, let's get this done first. So I know it got done before any other distractions.
Yeah, well said. Thing I like to get done before all my distractions start for the day is I like to go through my emails and make sure that little red number that's above my email icon disappears, because, the time between I leave at 5:30 at night and the time between I get here the next morning at 8:30, I've got 200 emails. Now, sure, a lot of it is junk, But, I got to go through that and make sure, nobody needs any help for the day so I can help plan my day accordingly.
How often do you get rid of the junk and make it not show up anymore?
Oh, every day, because as soon as you block a sender, I get the same email from a different email
Oh,
address.
interesting.
These people, they rotate in email addresses. And this is a pet peeve of mine. And now I'm going to do my sermon right now. A good email habit is, people put too much trust in the filters that the Gmail and the Yahoo and the Outlooks. As far as I'm concerned, my junk folder is my second inbox, because without fail, at least once a day, I have something in my junk folder that I need to see. So if people aren't checking their junk folder daily, they're missing an email. And those things clear out on most email systems by themselves.
Hmm.
I think Gmail clears it out every 30 days, and then they
Yeah.
automatically empty the trash every 15 to 10 days. And here's a crazy thing about Gmail. They'll put new emails directly in the trash folder for you. So you have three places to check if you're using a Gmail account.
Now I know why
Uh,
you're getting 200 a day, because three different places.
yeah. Plus, I got like 20 different email accounts between Agent Formula, Be Social Savvy. So there's customer support accounts, there's finance accounts. There's one account that just gets emails from my web application that tells me, hey, an error happened. Go look at this and make sure if it's an isolated incident, or if I need to put my programming hat on for the day and do some programming and fix something. Um, it's a lot to go through, and sometimes when I'm in middle of a class and I'm in front of my computer and I see that number starting to go up, that adds to my stress level. You might notice, sometimes, I'm very pleasant at the beginning of the class, and then I slowly but surely start to get a little more unpleasant. Or
Yeah,
sometimes I'll just grab my computer, put it on my lap, and I start, going furiously. That's because something happened and I got to take care of it.
yeah, the pressure
Um,
mounts.
and I don't know. Some people, they're not email people; they're text people. They're like, hey, don't email me. My email's a black hole. I get thousands of emails per day. You know, People with websites and business owners, they're not prepared for the onslaught of junk that they're going to get as soon as their email becomes public.
Right,
Oh,
right.
and some people, they're just phone people. People, like I said, they're not all the same. They all have their different things of what's important to them. For me, my email boxes, that's what's important to me. The support tickets on Agent Formula, that's what's important to me. And I need to take care of those as soon as possible.
Well, Ruthie's on the road to California, and
Yes, she
she's figuring
is.
out how to work her phone, because she's commenting in the chat here that Mentos was, she meant The Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss, and that's the book I was just talking about a couple of sections.
Oh,
So
that
she
makes a
actually,
lot more sense than private Mentos.
yeah, yeah, doesn't it? Yeah.
Because isn't Mentos a candy?
Well, that's what happens when you're on the road driving to California trying to text. I mean, I'm sure she's not
Autocorrect,
driving, but
man.
yeah, yeah,
I just hope she's not driving
I'm
and
sure she's
texting at
not.
the same time. I hope she's in the passenger seat.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure she is. I'm John. John's going to want to drive. He's got a. Men like to drive. They like to drive. They like to be doing something. Women will
Yeah.
just sit there and play with their phone or whatever. But we miss her, and I appreciate you being on the show with me, because we hardly ever get to converse. I mean, you come in and I come in, and we're doing our own thing. I barely get to say hi to you sometimes. So hi,
Yeah.
Cain.
Hi, Jim.
I'll see
Now,
you at 1 o'clock.
yes, we're going to have 1 o'clock. I don't know if is it our last or second to last Buffini meeting
It's
for
not the
this?
last
Like,
one.
okay, it's definitely not the last one, but we're getting close to the end. And one of the metrics for all these classes, the first class, 15, 16, 17 people.
Yep.
How many people were at our last class?
6, maybe 7.
I think you're being generous,
Okay.
but still, the rate of attrition, and sometimes when we do these trainings, they're putting in a financial commitment and they don't make the time commitment.
Right.
That's always a little weird to me. But Ruthie's been very diligent about holding people's feet to the fire. She wants them to get something out of this because I guess this is Buffini's new tagline, because I don't remember this from the Pathways classes. Watching his videos without doing what he's telling you to do is just entertainment.
Right.
And he is very entertaining. I mean, he's fun to watch, and he gives you a lot of good information. But if you're not putting it into practice, it's what are you doing?
Right. Right. Well, I got to go to work. You got to go to work. It's 9:30. Thanks for being with me today, and I'll see you at 1.
Okay, you can go, but before I go, I want to let everyone know that we are having a law class on Monday at 10 a.m. We're having JC Melvin in. He's going to do the last legislative update before they come out with a new legislative update class. And if you don't know what happened in the last legislative cycle, this is probably your last chance to find out what changed before they make the new changes. Jim? Ooh.
Well, you can't get any better than JC Melvin. He's always got a lot of great information besides just what's in the content. He's got other things he's picked up as he's gone along his career. The guy's a real resource. So I'm glad you guys have him. He's excellent.
Yeah, this will be our second class with him. He was a pleasure to have last time, and I think we're going to have a great class Monday. If you want to sign up for it, it's been on the scroll at the bottom. See that there it goes. www.bee.vegas. That's b.vegas. That takes you right to our CE calendar. You can sign up for the class on Monday, as well as all the additional classes that we offer. We have every class scheduled for the rest of the year, and that includes classes with the Jimmy Dag. Let's see, he's in that box over there. So we're doing trying to get in every core class each month, and we pepper in the generals and the broker management. We do a lot of good things. I mean, you're kind of a training machine. You do about 5 to 6 classes with us a month, and you're doing classes all over the city. Where do you find all the time?
I don't know. But I know at your place, they can come live. So the ones that can't figure out Zoom, we had like 18, 20 people in there the other day, and it was a very lively group in the class besides the Zoomers. So if you can't figure out Zoom, I mean, you're on this class, so you're probably able to do technology, but sometimes showing up and interacting with people in the class, you get a benefit there, because we talked about some listings that were coming up on the market that if you weren't there, you wouldn't have known about them.
Yeah. What do you call those? Pocket listings?
Yep. That's right. That's it. Pocket listings.
See, I listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have classes every week, and we do them simultaneously on Zoom, and like Jimmy said, live, so people can come to the classroom, participate live. People can come on Zoom. You can turn on your microphone. Everyone in the room can hear you because we got you hooked up to speakers. And I don't think there isn't anyone else in town doing what we are doing with CE classes right now.
And I have one last thing. Don't you on Wednesday do some kind of a social media thing on Wednesdays or something like that?
So on the Thursdays where we don't do the CE classes, we have a social media review for our Agent Formula members that have taken our social media courses. Me and Ruthie are putting together a new series of social media classes that we're going to do in late July. We're going to do LinkedIn on July 19th and Facebook on July 30th. And I think we're going to do some Google stuff mixed in with LinkedIn. These systems, they've changed so much just over the past couple of months that things that we used to know about them don't exactly track anymore. So you got to really keep up with it because it's always changing. I was learning the Creator Studio just the other day, and as I'm going through it, this is a new thing. It's already got warnings on it. We're going to remove this. We're going to change this in a couple weeks. So here I am. I'm trying to learn a new thing, and they're warning me that they're already going to change the new thing into another new thing. But
there's a phrase: yesterday's meal will not satisfy today's appetite. If you learned something yesterday, you still got to learn something today, and you got to learn something tomorrow, and you got to learn something every day.
That is profound, Jim. That is very profound.
All right, I'm going to check out. It's time to
Okay.
go.
Yeah,
All right.
we've gone over time. It's great talking to you, and I hope everyone out there has a great day. Ruthie, thanks for sending us some comments. We hope you and John have a safe trip, and we can't wait to